And so here we are in the midst of an epidemic of dishonesty and an endless barrage of lies. Deceit in government isn't something to just shrug your shoulders at. When elected officials speak as though they are above the truth, they will act as though they are above the law.
That's former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg saying Americans are facing an epidemic of dishonesty, warning students at Texas's Rice University this is a dire threat to our democracy, the most dangerous thing around, more dangerous than terrorism. The 76-year-old billionaire did not call out any politicians by name, but if you read through the lines on that one, you know where he was heading. Joining me right now, conservative review commentator Tom Borelli and the chair of the National Bar Association PAC, Scott Bolden. Scott, what did you read into that?
Good afternoon.
Did he kind of mean that, this president is dishonest? Was that what he was trying to tell us?
He was, yes. You didn't have to read between the lines. He not only was indicating that the president was dishonest, but his aides are dishonest, and those pundits and consultants and the people on TV who support Donald Trump very often are dishonest. I mean, you have a Washington Post report that says he's lied over 3,000 times since he became the president. And we're not talking about policy disagreements. We're not talking about misleading statements per se, although those are in there. We're talking about, for example, like the birther movement or crowd size or things that objectively on their facts are true. Those aren't that important. Don't get me wrong. You're right about that. But what about this, that this deep state and the Mueller investigation is in some way democratically run and some witch hunt? We know that's not the case because we know that.
I'm going to stop you there because
now
you're getting into some sensitive territory. Seriously, Scott,
it's not true.
We're not going to go down that rabbit hole because we'll be here for another 2 hours, and we've already covered that ground earlier with David Bossie.
I want to meet you there.
I want to talk about Mike Bloomberg and what his intentions are here. I mean, I used to work for him. I can tell you, he is not a fan of Donald Trump's. Not in any way, shape, or form. I mean, personally, he's not a fan of him. He didn't like him so much. But Tom Borelli, when you talk about dishonesty and this epidemic of dishonesty, I mean, I would read through the lines and give Mike the benefit of the doubt and point out that he is talking about both sides. Right. Unlike my friend Scott Bolden, because I think there's some dishonesty on both sides. When James Comey's out there calling his buddy up at Columbia University to leak some report.
James Comey's a Republican, though. Trish,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Don't you understand, Scott Bolden, politics is playing such a massive role, but it's not even party specific anymore. Tom, I'll let you pick up the ball on this one. I mean, dishonesty is a problem. It's on both sides.
Oh, absolutely. And, welcome to the party, pal, like Bruce Willis said in the movie Die Hard, with respect to Mr. Bloomberg. Look, this is why we had the Tea Party years ago, and this is why we have Donald Trump, a businessman, as president, because he's delivering the promises and the truth to the American people. He promised tax cuts. We got tax cuts. He promised cuts in regulations. We got cuts in regulations. He promised the United States would be an energy superpower. Keystone XL pipeline, Dakota XL pipeline being built. He's doing something on the international front as well. Got us out of that horrible Paris climate change agreement. Got us out of that horrible Iran agreement. He got 3 hostages out of North Korea without sending $400 million in cash like former President Obama did.
And guess what else
he's telling the truth and he's delivering for the American people.
And he also put the U.S. embassy.
And that's the truth. Right. That's his truth.
I would agree that those are pluses for the Trump administration, but Bloomberg is talking about something else. He's talking about blatantly misleading the American people, where objective facts say one thing and he says another. He's talking about when Donald Trump says fake news.
So do you think that crowd size, as you brought up earlier, is actually a more important issue than, say, terrorism?
Well, wait a minute. I didn't put the importance label on it. Donald Trump did by sending out Sean Spicer to tell the world that it was the biggest size ever. But what about the whole fake news issue? Really? Honestly, let's talk about this, right? Whenever Donald Trump says something is fake news, do you really believe that the Washington Post, New York Times, or CNN are putting out just fake news with no standards of journalism whatsoever?
Yes, I do.
There have been examples of that, sir.
He disagrees with that, and there may be examples, and I'm sure they've apologized for those. But as a general proposition, if Donald Trump calls it fake news, you know what it is? It's bad news for him. It's news that he doesn't agree with. Why does it have to be fake news? Does he have to attack the fourth estate simply because he disagrees with the objective facts that they're sharing? It's wrong, and that's what Bloomberg is talking about.
You got some anger in there, Scott.
No, just passion. I'm passionately against Donald Trump.
I take it you're a no on this president.
Donald Trump.
All right. Well, listen, it's good to see you. Thank you, Scott. And
good
Tom,
seeing you, too.
I will give you the final word because we get another 20 seconds. But just in your view.
Yeah, I mean, as we heard from my nice colleague in D.C., they like to talk about things that are not important.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon. Liz Clayman has you from here.